Na odru prosim pozdravimo gospoda Kennetha Stevensa. Let's welcome on our stage Mr. Kenneth Stevens, Chief Technology Consultant, Advisor
whatever,
in SAP EMEA region. Welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
A round of applause. Mr. Stevens, I opened up the dialogue before. I think we should also, it's a lot about exchanging, not only downloading, but it's about the exchange. And in the dialogue, I found on the application, on the wall, one interesting, bold vision. And somebody said, I would like to live in a world without traffic accidents. I think everybody can identify with that. So how do we translate this bold vision back to solutions, to technologies that help us do it?
Well, you're introducing some of the topics I will talk about.
Okay, I'm already leaving.
Okay, well,
the floor is yours.
Thank you. It's about good morning. So, very pleased to be here. I'd like to start with an email I received recently from the CIO of one of our trusted customers. So it starts like this. I think it could be a nice introduction. I will read it with you. So I think I should press on this button. Okay. So he said, it was a mail. I blurred the name just for confidentiality reasons. And he said, the next person who comes into my office and puts a slide that says, Airbnb are the world's largest booker of rooms, but oh no hotel. Uber are the world's largest booker of taxi rides, and etc. etc. You know the story. Then steps back to await my wide-eyed amazement at this before going on to leverage those interesting but wholly unrelated facts to a sales pitch for their hardware, software, printer consumable offering will be politely but firmly escorted off the premises. So I'll try today actually to change and use other examples, examples that are powered by SAP's platform. We'll divide that in different groups, but one thing is important to start with is that every business today is a technology business or becomes a technology business. So we will all have to deal with technology, and we'll see more and more software embedded in all products, in all services, in all companies. I'm saying all businesses will have to deal with technology. That doesn't mean that all businesses will become IT shops. So you may be familiar with Gartner's bimodal IT model, do you? Who is familiar with that concept from Gartner? Only a few people in the room, so I will quickly summarize what is that concept. So what Gartner is stating is that today you need a two-paced, a two-speed IT. On the one hand, it's probably the right-hand side, you still need to optimize your processes. You still need to become more efficient. You still need to reduce costs. And basically that is what SAP is doing, or what SAP is, if I can say so, famous for the last 45 years. It's about optimizing your processes. It's about reducing costs. But we sell more than software. We actually provide our customers with best practices to make businesses more efficient. So you could say that this is really about, optimizing the way people work. That doesn't happen overnight. That takes time because people need to change. And these are the best practices. Now, on the other hand, it's no longer about best practices, it's about the next practices. It's about innovation. So we're not talking about, long implementations. We are talking about innovating with an iterative approach. You design something, and very fastly, you have your next releases, and you have your iterative cycles. Sometimes we say that on the one hand, you have a marathon runner, on the other hand, you have a sprinter. Or another example would be, and I think it's more and more relevant this time, it's that in your IT army, you need samurais and you need ninjas. The samurais always follow the rules. They are predictable, they take orders, and they execute. But somehow they are inflexible. On the other hand, you need ninjas, and ninjas have no rules. They innovate to achieve results, and they are probably the real disruptors, so they need to be agile. The thing here, and that's probably my key message related to that bimodal IT model, is that you cannot see those two worlds as completely separated. It's like the yin and the yang of IT. You need those two worlds to be connected, to be integrated. And that's what we will see in the next few examples I will share with you. So that's my key message here. It's bimodal IT demands integration. So the digital transformation is probably the opportunity to rethink how people work, to reimagine business processes, and ultimately to reimagine your business models. Let's start with the first part, which is about reimagining how people work. Let's be honest, SAP has not always been famous for, let's say, the friendliness of its user interfaces. That's the least we can say. It has significantly changed for the last few years. Who would have thought just a few years ago that SAP would win a Red Dot Award for the best design of a user interface for a business application? You know, you had the name of SAP next to Alessi and other designers in other domains. So we have significantly invested in that, also because the technology allows us to completely rethink the interaction with our business users. Because we have the real-time capabilities, combining analytics with transactional capabilities on one screen. This was not feasible before launching SAP HANA. Now, in a digital world, there is no time to train people. I started at SAP already about 18 years ago, and the first thing I had to do is to go to a training in Manchester to learn, basically 1 week to learn how to place an order in an SAP system. This is no longer possible. In a digital world, there is no time to train people. So what do? You heard about Fiori, that comes with Suite for HANA. So this is the new paradigm for user interfaces at SAP, leveraging HTML5 and all the new technologies. But how long will we still use a screen, a keyboard, and a mouse to interact with business applications? So the next example is something we do, or the first example, I should say, is something we do with a startup company called Core, K-O-R-E. And they developed a chatbot, so an intelligent software robot, a chatbot that runs on top of the SAP Cloud Platform, that integrates with the SAP Cloud Platform. And if it's not completely readable, I will actually help you reading that, sorry. So you actually use SMS interaction with a business application using human language. So here it's addressing the Concur application, and as you know, Concur is the travel and expense application of SAP. So it says, the user asks, hey, Concur, has my expense report been approved? And the system comes back with an answer. Well, it's currently still pending at Cathy, your manager. Would you like me to send a reminder? Please do not underestimate that little sentence. Would you like me to send a reminder? This is the result of machine learning, because each time the system was replying, it's still pending for approval by your manager. The next question of the user was, could you send a reminder? So instead of having a monologue, you now have a dialogue with the machine, with the business application. It's asking you, would you like me to send a reminder? And then you have the rest of the flow. Okay, yes, please do so, and then it's approved, and you continue like that. This is one example. You could apply that in many different domains. In CRM, hey, CRM, what are my top 5 opportunities for this month? Who is the contact person at that customer? What is his preferred restaurant? Etc., etc. Now, coming back to what I said, the bimodal IT. Innovation is cool. Chatbots are cool. But what are chatbots if you don't integrate the business process? So you really need that connection between mode 1 and mode 2, between optimization, the business process, and the innovation. Now the question is, how long will we still use our fingers to interact with the business application? And you heard a lot about those digital assistants, Siri and Cortana, Alexa, many of those digital assistants. Of course, SAP will integrate with those, but we've also decided to launch our own one. We call it Copilot, because it's co-piloting you when you do business. It's a more business-oriented digital assistant, and I have a few screenshots with some warnings and, legal statements, because it's a brand new product, so what you will see now may not be 100% of what will be delivered in the first release. But here, you see that the machine is even more proactive. So it's telling you, well, that machine is starting to heat above the threshold. And it immediately shows you what is the threshold, at what temperature, because of the sensors we have on the machines. Now, it also indicates what impact, what business impact it could have, because it tells you which sales orders may be affected by that problem with the machine. From there, I can immediately create a service request so that we can send an engineer to fix the problem. So you see that the system is proposing me to enter a service request, which I'm doing now. I posted the service request. So here we see that the next step will be actually to follow up on that request, because I would like the production manager to also be involved in the discussion. So I will now open the discussion to more collaboration with the production manager, so that I inform him of, okay, we engaged with a service engineer and he will fix the problem very soon. But please be prepared in case the person cannot fix it, because we may have a problem with 2 important sales orders. So here is the whole conversation that you have with the machine, sometimes using text, sometimes using voice recognition as well. In this case, I'm putting myself also on the sales side. Okay, what are the materials that could be, impacted by that, can be affected by that problem? It affects 2 sales orders. So in that case, I would like to immediately foresee a new purchase or an alternative purchase. For the purchase order, I need, of course, to identify myself, to approve that purchase order. I do that with my finger ID. And of course, you can also have simple things on those kind of devices that you now wear on your wrist. Here in this case, the Apple Watch. But very, very simple steps. So these are the kind of interactions you can have with a machine these days. Now, the next question is, and the next example will be in the augmented reality. So we will see augmented reality applied in a warehouse. Now, you know that you have more and more contractors. That's also the reason SAP purchased a company, a software called Fieldglass, and that we have integrated with our product portfolio. Fieldglass is actually managing your contractors as you would manage your own employees. And you see that even in warehouses, more and more, you see students who wants to work a few hours in the warehouse. You see sometimes retired people who would like to make some more money and work in the warehouse. And that's what I'm going to show you, I guess, in just 1 second. So that's the augmented reality kind of scenario. So the worker is starting his shift, is wearing augmented reality glasses, would start his work. The machine is asking, are you ready to start your work? Yes, I am. So just with, in that case, voice recognition as well. In a digital world, there is no time to train people. So I'm completely guided to do my work without errors. And you see here, oh, sorry for that. You see here that the picking list appears on the right. I see exactly where I have to go. I see some arrows that bring me, that highlights the goods I need to pick in the warehouse. I can just take the box from where it was indicated by the system. I scan that box using the QR code, the code bar, whatever, and I can continue to pick without any mistakes and by being assisted all along the way with my augmented reality application. Again, augmented reality is cool. This is not science fiction, by the way. This is live at several customers, so this is today. And again, it's about combining new technologies, in this case augmented reality, but what is the value of that if you don't integrate the business process, right? Next example will be more in the area of reimagining business processes. That's where we come from. I could give you plenty of examples about how rethinking how people work. Let's now switch. Let's now go to the next step, rethinking business processes. Now, when it comes to business processes, what we see is that the number of transactions is increasing, but the value of each transaction is actually decreasing. It's because of the omni-channel, you capture information from more and more sources, so you have more load on your system, but the average value of a transaction is decreasing. So you need really a solid backbone to connect to all those new, let's say, sensors of the world, being the social networks, being sensors in machine, the Internet of Things, being, augmented reality, as we have seen, etc., etc. My first example is the result of it's just for fun that I'm sharing that with you. It's because we organized a contest internally at SAP, and we asked people to come up with a great idea of how to leverage the SAP Cloud Platform in an IoT type of scenario. And this is Gukai from Dubai. He's based in Dubai. And he created, it was still a prototype at that time, he created what he calls the Twitter bird. And the Twitter bird is connected, in that case, to Twitter through the SAP Cloud Platform, and has 3 lights. You have 3 lights in the bird, a green light, a yellow light, and a red light. And it would capture, based on what you ask. For example, I would like to capture what is being said about the SAP forum here in Slovenia. And the system, the platform would capture your sentiment based on the text analysis and sentiment analysis capabilities of the platform, and would actually link with that bird. So as soon as there would be negative comments, the bird would turn red. And this is something we have now modified a bit and made a little bit more usable. And our idea is to share a bird, or to offer a bird to the CEOs of our most trusted customers, so that they can put it on their desk. And if you're in retail and you would have a problem of delivery, if you are in the pharmaceutical industry and you would have a problem with a certain drug or whatever, that bird would turn red in a moment, much faster than if you would have to wait for your R&D, for your marketing department to inform you about that problem. So he won a prize for that, and I have other examples later on. This one originally was not a case from SAP. It became a case of SAP later on. It's CNA, the fashion company, you know them probably. And what they wanted to do, what they have actually, is they have that web shop, or it's not really a web shop, it's a fan page on Facebook, where they publish their new collections every season. And they expect people, of course, to just click on the items they like. But they also wanted to make a link with their real shops. So they now have those clothes hangers with a small display, so that they can tell people how many likes a certain cloth had on the fan page. You can imagine, of course, that this would influence the purchasing behavior of certain people. So they would prefer those items that are liked by a lot of people, or just the opposite. You don't want to buy what everybody likes. Now, this is very nice to influence the purchasing behavior, but we are SAP. And we look at that from a completely different perspective. We optimize processes within an organization end to end. Imagine you are the inventory manager of CNA, and you would dispose of that information. What is it that my customer like in the northern part of Europe, in the southern part of Europe, so that I can better manage my inventory across Europe? Imagine you are the production manager with smaller and smaller, shorter and shorter production cycles, so that you can actually see that some items are really liked by a lot of people, and you could maybe launch a new batch of production for that single item. So that's what we are talking about, how to leverage all that data. Data is the new gold to do better business, to optimize your business. Again, innovation integrated with the business process. This is more recent. This is how we integrate, another example of how we integrate machine learning in our business applications, and it's an HR type of application. So we call it CV matching. You know, for large organizations, but also for smaller organizations, it may be a pain to match all the CVs you receive, all the resumes you receive with the open positions. So do you really want to spend that much time doing that? So with machine learning integrated here in the platform and integrated with our HR capabilities, a recruiter would just have to upload the job description. Here is the job description, and would click to see the matching with all the current and past applications. I can even, use applications that were posted by candidates already 6 months ago, and I would have a matching. I can say, okay, what is the most important for me? Educations or skills, experience? Okay, that would completely change actually the way people are ranked. Or I would like to find only the people in that city, in Italy, for example, and that reduces the number of people. I would like to have another view on all the CVs, to have always the same structure, and the machine would actually provide you with let's say, standardized view on the CV, highlighting the most important aspects of that talent profile, right? So that's how we integrate machine learning into our systems. One example. Today, 10%, even less than 10% of our applications are integrating or are leveraging machine learning. We predict that within the next 3 years, more than 90% of our applications will leverage machine learning, artificial intelligence, if you will. So this is an example, and this one I like to tell that story as well, because it's one of my favorite for the last 2 years. It happened in the Netherlands. It's also basically the result of a contest. It was starting with a hackathon. An insurance company in the Netherlands organizing a hackathon, inviting SAP, other suppliers, developers, and so on, to think about how can we make bicyclers more safe. You know that they are doing a lot of bicycling in the Netherlands. I think they have 20 million bicycles for 17 million inhabitants. So they are biking all the time. They go to school, to work with the bike. They do much more than we do in many other countries with the bike. So the idea was, how can we make those people more safe, those bikers more safe? So a team, the SAP team, started, our ninjas, I would say, in that case, the innovators, started to think, okay, what can we do to inform bikers about something that could happen? So they found that database with all the accidents that took place in the Netherlands involving a bicycler. They imported that in the SAP HANA platform, and using the geospatial capabilities of the platform, they could actually see a map of the Netherlands with, red areas that are very dangerous, orange, and then the rest was green. And they then thought about how can we inform the biker. Developing a mobile application for that would be a very bad idea, because you would create even more accidents, probably. So what they did is that they first developed a bell, a bike bell, that is connected through Bluetooth with the mobile device. So that when you would approach a dangerous location, the bell would start ringing. And then the insurance company, the customer, liked it. So they told us, okay, let's continue, we will test that with a few students. We tested it, and guess what? They're all wearing a headphone to listen to their music while they're bicycling. So they were not even hearing the bell. So we said, okay, we need a next iteration. As I said, ninjas are iterating. You start with the first ID, and you have fast release cycles to make your ID evolve. So the next release was actually to have a red blinking light on top of the sound, so that when you approach, you would see a dangerous point or dangerous location. This would start blinking. And the next iteration was, let's make it social. So let's also have a button on that bell, so that people by themselves can feed the database saying, I think this is a dangerous location. Not if one person clicks on the button, but if 10, 15 people believe that the same point is a dangerous point, well, they would click on it and feed the database with even more social type of information. Last September and October, we did a test with 2 schools, and we analyzed the behavior of the students who were using that intelligent bell. And we realized that they were really avoiding the dangerous locations all the time. So quite a success. It's now being rolled out to more students, to more people. The insurance company is offering that to their customers. And I think that if we have been able to save only one life with that system, we were very successful. The next one was stolen by my colleague Martin here, so I won't repeat it. It's about SAP brand impact. You know, the only thing I would like to add to what Martin said is that companies spend about $60 billion every year in sponsoring, whereof 70% in the sport industry. And guess what? Only less than 1% of that money is invested in analyzing the impact of what you do, of your investment in sponsorships. So with this system, it completely changes the relationship you can have with your advertising agencies, or even the other way around. You can really see the exposure time and provide the exposure time to those people to renegotiate maybe how much you invested compared to your visibility. So you could ask the system to analyze millions of hours of, TV program. If you would need a human to do that, it would be an impossible task. So that's, and I will skip the other one because I'm not sure about the timing. Well, this is for workers. It's called Connected Goods. It's on a plant. You can have that, on workers. Here it's a construction area. And you can see on that page all the items that are used on that construction area using geofence. So you know which tools are used on that particular area for the Market Hotel. That's the name of the project, and I can see which tools are being used. Each tools can also be analyzed to check actually what is the status of the battery, how long has it been used, etc., etc. So I would like to see the whole list of the tools that are used, especially on that project, and I see that I have an alert here on the second item, and I would like to see what's going on. So I see remotely that the battery is still charged, it's in use, but the notification is that the asset was moved out of the geofence, so out of the project area, meaning that one of my workers took the tool to do maybe some work elsewhere, or at home, or whatever. But at least I'm informed, I can follow up on that, and this is by combining other services that are available in the platform. So that was about rethinking the business processes using IoT, using social information coming from social networks, using artificial intelligence, or more precisely, in this case, machine learning. And often what we see is that you need the 2 first parts, rethinking work and rethinking business processes, to be able to rethink your business model. Rethinking the business model is often the consequence of the first 2 parts we've seen. I'll take the example that was mentioned of Under Armour selling sport clothes. They see themselves becoming a healthcare company, because with all the data they collect about their customers on the sensors, in their clothes, on wearable devices, they will be able to advise their customers on how to be more healthy, or even how can you be more performant in the sport you do. Another example is Kaiser compressors, those famous compressors, you see them everywhere. Kaiser was used to sell those compressors to their customers. They completely changed their business models because they now have so many sensors in those compressors that they can easily anticipate the maintenance of those compressors. How much will it cost to maintain those compressors? And they can analyze that so well that instead of selling their compressors, they now charge their customers based on the they pay per air consumption, actually. So you have square meters of air that would be charged to the customer depending on the usage of the machine. And it's exactly the same happening in the airline industry. So Rolls-Royce, for instance, has all those engines, running planes. One engine of those planes creates about 1 terabyte of data every day. So all that data is captured by Rolls-Royce, and they can also better predict the maintenance and all the replacements of pieces they have to do on those engines, so that they don't sell the engine anymore. They actually sell a subscription to the airline companies or to the leasing companies. The next step is that they will charge per hour of flight. So that's how you can transform your business model, by rethinking your business processes and probably also the rest. Now, this is now true in all industries. I just gave you a few examples, and here even a few examples. It's true in public sector with the smart cities. It's true in domotic at home. It's smart environment, smart water management. It's about logistics, obviously. It's about agriculture. So it's all in all industries that digitalization will have an impact. Digitization will have an impact. Now, we talked about a few signals. We talked about, brand sentiment with the Twitter bird. What are people thinking about my brand, my products, and my services? Predictive maintenance, but what about insider threats or fraud detection, for example? These are usually things that happen after the facts. You see fraud after the fraud happened. What if you can do that in real time, or even if you can anticipate the fraud? Same with insider threats. Basically, what we do at SAP, we work more and more with police departments to actually anticipate crime. Lots of different things that are now feasible with big data, if you take the time to manage that. But for that, you need a platform that would combine your process, your business processes, and innovation to reach actually the limits of the possible. PaaS standing for Platform as a Service, obviously. So we talked about those two modes. Mode 1, how to run your company. Mode 2, sensing what is happening, so that you can take decision, you can engage, and you can decide what is going on. On top of that, you need some analytics to analyze what's going on, real-time, predictive, and you need a foundation, which is that platform as a service we were talking about. And that's exactly what we provide with our platform approach. So on the one hand, as I already said, it's about optimizing your process. On the other hand, it's about differentiating your business. It's the agile layer, the samurai and the ninja stuff. Now, if we translate that into SAP solutions, the SAP solutions will optimize your business. Take them as they are, as standard as possible when feasible. It's about the suite for HANA, your backbone for the digital economy. It's about SuccessFactors for HR, Ariba, the business network. It's Fieldglass for your contractors, we mentioned that, and it's Hybris for your commerce. On the other hand, you can extend those applications. You can integrate your applications, or you can completely build new and innovative applications on the SAP Cloud Platform. But these two things, these two worlds, are not separated. I can do chatbots with the SAP platform, but easily integrate SAP processes in that platform. So if I give it another perspective, you have all those sources of data that you will manage on the one hand with your SAP business applications, but you can also leverage in your innovative applications in an integrated fashion, because SAP will continue to take the responsibility of integrating its different products with each other. If you hear about more niche vendors, they will always underestimate the importance, or at least the complexity, of integration. We do not outsource the responsibility of integration to our customers. We take, and we will continue to take that responsibility to offer it out of the box. So we have that platform today to extend business applications. You wouldn't do that in the core of your applications, especially not in a software as a service context. You would actually extend your application outside of the application itself based on the SAP Cloud Platform. It's about the integration, I just mentioned that, and it's about building innovative applications as we discussed for the last 2 hours probably. Now, what differentiates SAP HANA as a database from SAP HANA and the SAP Cloud Platform as a platform, it's because you have plenty of services, open services that are available in the platform. It goes from IoT services. We talked about machine learning, analytics, UI capabilities to develop brand new user experiences, business services, integration, and more important, of course, most important is, of course, the cybersecurity on your platform. It's also an open platform. We offer, take the CV matching we were talking about, we offer it as an API. If you would like to integrate it in a non-SAP system, for example, we offer that capability as a microservice. So the openness of the platform is probably one of its characteristics as well. So on the one hand, running the organization with the SAP Cloud applications and the Suite for HANA. On the other hand, it's about winning, it's about increasing the top line, decreasing cost, reducing cost, growing the top line, and that's the SAP Leonardo portfolio. So what do we have in there? If I zoom a little bit, I have my system of records with all the products we already mentioned, Suite for HANA, Hybris, Fieldglass, SuccessFactors, and then our system of innovation in an integrated fashion with IoT capabilities of the platform, with the machine learning, big data, modern analytics, blockchains, and data intelligence. And this is an infinite loop. You detect, you sense, and you act. You detect, this has an impact, so that impact can be detected, can be sensed again, and it's an infinite loop between the transactional world and the innovation world, between actually the system of record and the system of innovation. I'm not sure how much time. I have a last example, and I will close with that one, because a platform only exists if you have other companies building software on top of that, and we have close to 4,000 startups these days that are also using that platform to avoid reinventing the wheel, but to have a platform to make their crazy ideas real. And I will just, and I will end with that, share one example with you. I'm coming from Belgium, so we like beers, like in Slovenia, I guess. It's one of those 4,000 called Weissbierger. And they developed, it's a startup, sounds German, but it's an Israeli company, and they developed what they call beverage analytics. So what is the point of that application? It's actually to provide the big brewers, you know, the Heinekens, the Carlsbergs, the AB InBevs, with an application to better understand their end customer, because that's what they struggle with, is that they have so many distribution channels that they cannot always realize what is happening with the end customer, and helping, of course, their distribution channels. So in this case, what they do, so the solution is based, beverage analytics, is actually asking the pub tenants, the restaurants, the discotheques to put that little black box and to connect it with sensors to their taps, so that you can actually analyze the consumption, at what time, the volume, the quality, is the temperature okay, at what time was it consumed, so that the brewer can actually analyze in real time what's going on in the market. For one pub, for one restaurant, for one discotheque, it doesn't really make sense. But what if you elevate that to another level, the level of a city, the level of a region, the level of a country, and that you can start applying the functionalities we were talking about, like, you know, predictive, and that you can offer services to your distributors like the pub tenant, and you can say to that pub tenant, well, you know, according to our predictive models, if you organize a happy hour every Tuesday between 5:30 and 6:30 in the afternoon, our prediction is that you will increase your turnover by 18%. And they can then start creating new campaigns, very easily, not reinventing the technology. They just leverage all the capabilities of the SAP Cloud Platform to create an easy tool to create campaigns and to help actually the PEMP tenants be more efficient. Here it's about a campaign. For 2 days, you would get the second drink for free. You can accept it, and you go on. So our goal these days, and that will be my conclusion, our mission as being SAP is to intelligently connect people, things, and businesses. Intelligently, because of all the artificial intelligence, the machine learning. Connecting, it's all about integration. I hope that the message was clear. People with user experience, collaboration, mobile, real-time analytics, we discussed that as well. Things, IoT, and of course the businesses with integration, APIs, and microservices. With that, I would like to thank you very much for your attention and enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you.
Thank you, Kenneth. You talked about machine learning and how the technology can help us avoid these repetitive tasks that we're not good at anyway. But tell me, it was your source of data saying that right now we have 10% artificial intelligence. In 3 years' time, 90%. Danes 10%, čez 3 leta 90% umetne inteligence. In 3 years' time, if we meet again at this particular space, SAP Forum 2020, 21, I need artificial intelligence for that, how will the event be different?
Well, the good news, I think we will still, all the humans here will still be in the room.
Okay.
So that's the first thing I'm sure about. So hopefully
instead of
we'll
1
still
robot,
be there.
9 robots.
No, we could have maybe. And I think that we will learn even more about, applications that are leveraging those capabilities so that we can concentrate on what we do well. We talked about design. We talked about taking decisions, taking business decisions based on, and having the time to do that instead of focusing on very repetitive and boring tasks. So I hope that next time, and if I have the opportunity to come back, I will be able to show you more of that.
I'm counting on you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And enjoy the rest of the day.
You.